You can see this one from Vanguard News. It is saying that 2 million security personnel can protect over 200 million Nigerians. I talked about this situation some time ago, but a lot of people have not been able to comprehend what that means. So I decided to reshare it with you people. This statement was made on September 25, 2024. That is about 4 days ago. The Nigerian Security Agency, especially the Chief of Army Staff, he says that 2 million security personnel is what we have in Nigeria. And these 2 million security personnel don't have the capacity to protect Nigeria, don't have the capacity to protect your life. What are we going to do? Which way is the way forward? You need to answer this question. I don't need to answer it for you. Don't forget that self-defense is not a crime. And also, I used to tell people that you have a right to live. Mark that statement. You have a right to live. So if the Nigerian security agencies are telling you that, come on, we don't have what it takes to defend you, what are you going to do? You have a right to live. You can live your life so that anybody can just come. People who are even learning how to shoot gun, how to shoot arrow will just come and use you for practice and you lose your life. At the end, they will call them repentant bandit, repentant Boko Haram. Your own has gone. No. You have a right to defend yourself. And that is what I want people, to come together, to reason together. Each community should defend themselves. Each family should defend themselves. Have a weapon of defense beside you. You can go and register weapons. You can buy gun and register it. Anything you could. You can organize a vigilante group in your community because this is not funny. There have been insecurity from around the country. Nigeria has been ravaged with insecurity. I am happy that the Chief of Army Staff is coming out to tell us the simple truth. Hey, dear Nigerians, we can't defend you people because we have a lot of work and we are just 2 million, both police, civil defense, the military, to mention but few, both the Air Force, the Navy, the custom officers, they are all about 2 million security personnel without reserve. How can they protect over 200 million Nigerians? And people are not interested to join. People are no longer interested to join security agencies. And you know what that means. Why? Because they are not motivated. The government are recruiting bandits into them. The government are recruiting people who are sabotaging their movement into them. There is no how this country will survive like this. Because the primary duty of every government is the security of lives and property. In the other video, I told you people that the complicity of the security agencies with the bandits are part of the problem we are seeing today. You see, the Chief of Army Officer, he came on 25th of September to tell us that we have only 2 million security personnel in Nigeria, both the custom, the army, the police, the civil defense, and so on and so forth. That these 2 million can't give security to 200 million people. That is number one military man telling you that they can't defend you. And Nigerians don't know what that means. Nigerians are playing with it. Nigerians are just trying to take this thing for granted. And another thing about this is that most of these people now, he said they are 2 million. Most of them are terrorists. I have proof of what I'm saying in the sense that terrorists have infiltrated into the Nigerian army. Terrorists have infiltrated them because they induct Boko Haram members. They call them repentant Boko Haram and they put them inside them. And those people, in a way wrong, they will sabotage everything. Just for example, take a look at this video now. This is a military officer who was stealing ammunition, bullets to go and sell to the bandits. And he was a repentant Boko Haram member. Take a look.
Senior man, last couple of Nigerian army. This army don't do anything. What is it for you? In a magazine. It is your magazine. Yes, so. It is your magazine. 30 rounds. 30 rounds. You go sell and go give bandits. See, you go sell and go give bandits.
You know, say that man now, that these people that brought this thing out, watch the news very soon. You will hear that man they are trying to punish now will be the one that will be free. Those people that expose him, they will court-martial them and dismiss them.
That is just it.
To speak.
Yeah. So now before he comes back, because this question is for him, let's begin to talk about the issue of Fanloid Macau and legend about what the DSS was doing. And people were saying what Nnamdi Kanu did during the court proceedings last time, it wasn't a bad thing. So before he returns back, let us visit what Nnamdi Kanu said during the court proceedings last session.
I'm not very well. There's a lot of insecurity.
Okay, but health-wise, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm surviving.
We can talk about
Which one?
We're here for the judicial proceedings.
The political solution now, we are waiting for federal government.
You to after the proceedings the last day.
Absolutely.
We're here for the judicial proceedings.
We're here for the...
We can address the other one.
I'll do that later. And we have written a letter to them that they have not replied.
Okay, no problem.
They've not responded. Yes, they have not responded. I met with Attorney General as a... And mind you, the political solution was a solution actually suggested by the Supreme Court. Then judgment. And most of you journalists should take time to go through some of these judgments and then come to your conclusions. Go through all the rulings and the judgments. You know we have no case to answer. Very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Not very well, just about.
So, a quick question. The last time you were in court, you talked about article settlement. You wouldn't mind. So, has that made any progress towards that in terms of...
my lawyers, you're going to be able to actually tell you that.
But you've been able to meet with them after that particular day.
Have you dealt with this very issue?
No.
Which one?
So what she has asked earlier, just being telling known that she's one of the senior judges in this court. What if,
and I have respect and love for her. She knows.
What if this case comes back to her? Because she said no other
It is not possible. This persecution of the Igbo people, this orchestrated, almost global persecution of the people, stops with me. It cannot happen. It can never happen. That is why we do what we do. That is why I do what I do. I am campaigning for the freedom of my people because of the persecution that we are facing. It's as simple as that. Nothing more, nothing less.
Thank you very much.
You will understand the vacuousness, the emptiness of all the charges against me.
Okay.
They kept switching the charges. They said I committed this crime in England, isn't it? Yes. I made a broadcast in England.
Yes.
And in 9 charges leveled against me, this place where I committed this crime was London, United Kingdom. Yes. When my lawyers came to see me, I had a discussion with them about how I'm going to defend myself. I told them that no court in Nigeria has jurisdiction to try me. Because since this offense was committed in England, so they said, it's only a UK court that can give a Nigerian court the authority to proceed, isn't it?
Yes. Based on that, they removed London.
Based on that, they now amended the charge again and removed London.
Location of the
Location of the broadcast. Contrary to section 196,
174 of the Terrorism Prevention Act 2022.
in violation of their own laws. In violation of their own laws. And you want me to stand trial under such circumstances? Is that possible? Nnamdi Kanu to stand trial where all these shenanigans are going on? It's not possible.
All right. I hope our brother is on here. We can see you. You can on your camera so that we'll see you. So one thing is sure: once you know your rights, once you stand up to the truth, you will be declared an enemy. So what Nnamdi Kanu is saying there is that, look at, you can't try me. It's not Nnamdi Kanu you will try in this manner. You can try with other people, but not me. And they asked him, you have been here getting to 4 years. Why can't you just follow up with them and make sure that they finish everything? He said he has stayed there for 4 years, then the 5th year will not kill him. That is a man that knows what he's talking about and what he's saying. And for so many people who are in Nigeria who don't even understand what Nnamdi Kanu is doing, you might be seeing him that, oh, Nnamdi Kanu is just stubborn. He's just stubborn. It's just because of his people. No, it is because of you as well. It is because of you. When Sowore first said that he want to carry out revolution in Nigeria, they arrested him. But today, everybody is now shouting revolution, revolution. Both people in APC now, they are saying they need revolution. But you know one thing, that revolution, they will not see it now until they have suffered for what they sow. Because whatever a man sow, you will reap. So until we begin to reap what we sow to the end, we will not be able to wake up from this number.
Yeah, Marcel Okocha, please permit me to outline this. When Marcel Nnamdi Kanu said, I have spent 4 years here, and not that the fifth one will not kill me. What does he go out to show? He goes out to show that this is not a man desperate to come out and be free. He's a man desperate to free his people, no matter how long it takes. Because many of the people that are portraying themselves as lovers of Marcel Nnamdi Kanu and that are telling us what you are doing is going to jeopardize Marcel Nnamdi Kanu's position. They will not set him free. You cannot see that Marcel Nnamdi Kanu is not desperate to be free. Marcel Nnamdi Kanu, he himself is not desperate to be free. He is desperate for Biafra to be free. Put this on record. So you understand that this man, if he is desperate to be free, for him, like the journalists of the zoo, those brown envelope journalists that doesn't understand what freedom means. For them, freedom means themselves. That's why you will see one politician will steal money and he will be eating it with his family while others are suffering. Freedom for them is personal. But for him, freedom is for his own country, his own people. Like Jesus Christ died for the world. Marcel Nnamdi Kanu put his life out for Biafrans. So for him, he is ready to remain there as long as it takes, so far as his people will be free. So if he comes out tomorrow and his people are not free, he would rather remain in there. Because the reason why he was in there is for his people to be free. And that's why when they told him, don't you think it will delay? He told them that delaying doesn't mean anything to me. What means a lot to me is justice being served at the end. If Mandela spent 27 years in prison, what justifies it is that at the end of the day, South Africa got their independence. Yeah. That all the people they call freedom fighters in this world, that they fought freedom and did everything, what actually put icing on the cake is that at the end of the day, they got the freedom they are fighting for. It doesn't matter how long they suffer. But for some of our African people, Simon Ekpa is causing trouble. He's destroying. He will jeopardize Marcel Nnamdi Kanu's position. Marcel Nnamdi Kanu is ready to put his position on the line as long as Biafrans are yet to be free.
Now, let me ask you a question. I have a lot of questions in my inbox now, and these questions are directed to you. First of all, the insecurity in the Southeast. The other time, Hope Uzodinma came to Channels Television, and when he came to Channels Television, he talks about the insecurity in the Southeast. So I'm going to ask you a question with the question the people asked here and the question Hope Uzodinma answered on Channels Television. Okay. So on Channels Television, Hope Uzodinma said this. So we are going to just listen to him, and I will use it to ask questions of what these people are asking you. Let's take a listen to what he said.
I told you times without number in Imo State. Some of the cases of banditry here are politically contrived. Some are the real attacks by bandits. So I think that the kind of politics with bitterness that is going on in the state and some part of this region should really be condemned. And that is why we have decided to embark on both kinetic and non-kinetic approach.
Is there any reason, perhaps IG or yourself as a government in Imo State discovered behind the direct assault on security agents or agencies or the Nigerian police force in Imo State? Any reason behind that? Why are they doing that?
Well, it is not limited to Imo State alone. Of course, you can see the wave of banditry across the country today. There's banditry in the northern part of the country, banditry in the southern part of the country, banditry also in the eastern part of the country. But there are peculiarities state by state. Some of these crimes are being supported. Recall that 2 years ago when this thing started in Imo State, when the bandits attacked police stations, as they're leaving from the scene of crime, people will be clapping for them. People will be laughing with them. So the people took this thing as if it was a kind of entertainment. But incrementally, lives were lost. Incrementally, assets were destroyed. Incrementally, police stations were destroyed and burnt down. Individual homes. Some targeted politicians were also, their houses were burnt. So we took personal interest to begin to investigate the reason behind this. I told you times without number in Imo State. Some of the cases of banditry here are politically contrived. Some are the real attacks by bandits. So I think that the kind of politics with bitterness that is going on in the state and some part of this region should really be condemned. And that is why we have decided.
As we can't find where waiting happen. The engineer
all right, so I have to stop. I have to stop it there.
Yeah. Okay.
I have to stop it, and the reason why I stop it there is because I have seen what I'm looking for. What I am looking for is, Hope Uzodinma said they did an investigation, they carried out investigation, and they discovered that the reason why, he said some of them are because of banditry anyway, but the reason why security is in Imo State and some part of the South is because of politics of bitterness. Now, a lot of people have said that the IPOBs or the ESN or people who are agitating are the reason why insecurity are there in the Southeast. But this is a governor saying it is because of politics of bitterness.
Exactly.
Then, secondly, this is a commissioner of police in Zamfara State. Listen to what he said. I'm trying to connect some dots before I will ask you the question.
Go ahead.
We can say now banditry is an industry in Zamfara State. Last month, we arrested a member of the State House of Assembly in banditry here in Zamfara State. We arrested a district head. We also as well arrested a former local government chairman. So you can see that involvement of this class of people in banditry is more making the situation to become more and more complex. So in essence, I can say that all caliber of people now are involved. All manner of people.
All right. This is the commissioner of police. This is a security agent. A commissioner of police in Zamfara State is saying that they arrested a House of Assembly member, a lawmaker who is a bandit. They arrested local government chairman and so on and so forth. And Hope Uzodinma is telling you that politicians, again, is because of politics of bitterness that is causing insecurity in the Southeast. How can we justify when people say that people who are agitating are causing insecurity?
Thank you. You can now see that people who are, when they say people who are agitating are causing insecurity, you will now find out who are the people saying it. Who are the people saying it? That means it's the people that have some selfish interest or who are actually part of the instruments that the political criminals are using. Because when you now imagine that people that claim they are fighting for Biafra, suddenly you hear them saying Simon Ekpa is causing trouble in the Southeast. What do you call it? What do they don't even, they say IPOB, the other wing, they call it a wing of IPOB, and the one causing the fraction. But you see, the politicians themselves are saying they're not even, Hope Uzodinma is not even blaming IPOB. He's not even targeting the IPOB. He said it is politicians, politics of envy or politics of
bitterness.
Politics of bitterness. You understand? But he knows what is happening. It is not about politics of bitterness. He knows that what is causing insecurity, are the invited terrorists that are in Biafra land. The terrorists in Biafra, the army, Nigerian army in Biafra land, they are the ones. And those that are taking care of them are those that are actually securing our land. Who are they? We, the Biafra Liberation Army, our men on ground, are the ones taking care of them. And so when people begin to call us that are warding away or, stopping this incoming of the terrorist army into Biafra land, when they call us terrorists, you will know that they are, those people calling us terrorists or those people calling us that we are causing insecurity are the ones actually working with these political criminals. They are the ones. Because we have not, there's nowhere you will see that Biafra Liberation Army have gone after, citizens. Because when Biafra Liberation Army go on the streets, they are even being welcomed. People play with them. It is when the Nigerian army are on the streets that people run away. You see them shooting sporadically into houses. You see them, buying people.
Okay. Now, the question I want to ask you, do you think that without all this gone, without all this war, that the Biafra restoration will not happen?
Sorry, come again. My little boy was distracting me.
Okay. I said, do you think that maybe if there is no war, if there is no fight and all those things, do you think that Biafra restoration will not come?
No, the Biafra restoration, whichever way, whether they come with war or they come with fight or they allow it to come in peace, whichever way, Biafra restoration must come. It is something that we have determined. And the truth is that nobody is calling for war. For war. There is nowhere you will see our PM calling for war or somebody calling for war. They are the ones that are insisting that the Nigeria unity is not negotiable. You understand? And when they say it's not negotiable, it means that when we decide to protect our land, they come after us. And when they come after us, we will protect our land. If nobody comes after Biafra for our restoration, we have called for referendum. They didn't want to give us that chance. Then we have to go to follow the international law, and by international diplomacy, we have gone on our self-referendum, and which everyone that understands what is playing out have accepted it. And now we have more than 50 million votes. So if with that alone, nobody wants to listen to us, and then we declare Biafra, and they don't want to face it, they come for war. No, we are not afraid for war. So whether by war or by peace, Biafra must come, whichever way. So.
Okay, now you are not. If you ask any Yoruba man, any Hausa man, including the Efik, the EBBOs, most that would be better for them. That is what they believe. They divide Nigeria to be better for them. Then I think you still believe the same thing. But the question I'm going to ask you: what gives you more passion? Why do you spend 90% of your time talking about this issue of Biafra and so on and so forth? What motivates you?
What every day you see what is happening in Nigeria, our motivation increases. You know, most of the time when I even watch your program, your analysis are top notch. You bring out the true things that are happening in Nigeria that the mainstream media in Nigeria are not bringing out. You bring out the real thing that will make you know that Nigeria, there is nothing that will save it. Even recently on your station, you played one of the video that even Sowore himself admitted that election cannot save Nigeria. So what else will motivate me? So while they are going to the polls and talking about election, even Sowore that kept talking about election is now telling the people that election will not save Nigeria. So that means my motivation grows more. So because if we are calling that, look, let everybody go their separate ways, and they are coming after us to kill us, that means we are going to fight to make sure we have our freedom. So
all right, let's listen to that video you just mentioned. Let's see his concept and intention.
I was arrested in 2019 before revolution. It still happened. Yeah. I was restricted to Abuja. We still made NSAS happen. So I was not in Nigeria, and bad governance happened. So I'm not even big deal anymore in this struggle. Yeah. You guys have become more radical than myself. So anybody that is wasting his time plotting some plots, you are just wasting your time, because Nigerians have reached a point where they are no longer afraid of death. Yes. Because the Tinubu regime has killed us with economic policies, with political policies. And those people who still believe that election can solve their problem, they saw it in Edo State yesterday. They packaged the election, the outcome had been determined, brought Wike's cousin to come organize the election. How do you expect you to win the election? Bring the former commissioner of police in Abuja, Bernard Igwe, to come and supervise the election, and you're expecting that the election will be free and fair. You are wasting your time. But the Nigerian people can decide that they want all this nonsense to end now. Yes. And all of
wow. That was from Moyonde Sowore. So Sowore is saying that those who are hoping that election or political regime change can change anything in Nigeria, or they can term it as the hope of the people, that they are wasting their time. I think this is what I have been saying time with that number. I used to narrate to them that while growing up, my parents and my siblings who are older than me, I used to go with them to the polling booth, not because I am going to vote. But while reaching there, I see how everybody will vote. They will begin to thumbprint for PDP then. PDP is the ruling party. They will be thumbprinting for PDP, voiding AC votes, APC, for any other vote, they will void it. I knew that our future is in danger. Everything happening today, I know it's going to happen. Tell me today, how can you move and go to polling units and you think that what you are going to vote or your will is going to bring change? People hate the truth. People don't want to understand the truth. But that will not prevent us not to say the truth. So,
Mazi Charles, do you know that even Sowore himself, going into the last election, he knew that there was no way election would solve the problem. But do you know why Sowore keeps coming back into the elections? He's always come back to make sure his presence is there. Because he knows that there's no way those people will allow him. You know that there's no way anything like free and fair will happen. The only person that I know deliberately deceived Biafrans or deceived Nigerians is someone like Ebuka Obi, who already knew that Atiku is a criminal, Tinubu is a criminal, and these are the people he bowed to. And he went into the same election. That even though he saw the outcome of the election, he was, instead of taking the advantage to go for the revolution that would have ended everything once and for all, he was telling them, no, don't go and fight. He will go to court. Which court? And then they look at what is happening. Now, Sowore have come out to tell them openly. He's not the only one. Adeyanju also said it recently that Nigeria is completely ruined and there is no way you can get it back. I can't say that. These are people that are hardcore political, instruments in Nigeria.
And let us listen to what Deji said, so that people will not just believe that you are just saying it.
It's on the nation. And I must also add that the productive sector of our economy are the young people. And these young people, they don't use siren, they don't use convoys, and also they are not even captured in the economic indices of our country. Let me give you a simple analogy how doomed this country is. You see, among the police, only 13,000 police officers are engaged in fighting banditry and terrorist activities. 13,000. But go to the first CID, go and check. You can even use FOI to check this. 130,000 are following big men up and down. 130,000 are following big men up and down. In the Senate alone, and that's Senate and House of Reps alone, there are 3,600 police people attached to these jobless senators and House of Rep people. Why will insecurity not persist in the country? If you see one small boy, just because he does Yahoo, he commands 4 or 5 policemen. That's why the country is fucked. I'm sorry to use the word, the F word. The country is doomed for real, and there's no coming back from it. Any nation where the police, the SSS, the army are subcontracted to politicians instead of policing the nation can never work. Forget about this cosmetic surgery and all these things. And believe me, as we are here, I can assure you that there are more than 200 conferences going on in Abuja right now. Nothing comes out of these conferences. Absolutely nothing. If you go to Merit House, if you go to Transcorp, if you go to Sheraton, if you go to Ibro Hotel, even here, I think there are about 4 or 5 conferences going on here today. These are conferences, you print conference material, they do flyer, they do banner, we are wasting time in this country. Nigeria needs active citizens who will just wake up early in the morning on a faithful Wednesday or Thursday or Friday and occupy the entire nation and demand for reform and demand that these armed robbers, these buccaneers who are in the National Assembly, that they must stop stealing. A situation where you have the national budget, and 80% of the national budget is stolen. It's stolen. Blatantly stolen. And you expect me, you tell me that this can work. A situation where in a country, somebody stands in a church and says, lion carried him on his back. And people actually believe. People believe. So how do you want such a nation to work? And again, can you really blame them? You can't blame them because go and check all nations of the earth where governments have failed. People turn to God and religion. That's why you see people. Are you not surprised that Nigerians are calling on God of Israel? Israel is calling on Iron Dome for protection. So having said that, it's also important to say that if not for social media, where will we have been able to see the Akpabios of this world that will tell citizens and insult them that while you are protesting, I'll be eating. You know, if not for social media, how would we have seen Yabelo resisting arrest by EFCC? If not for social media, how would we have been able to see the First Lady fooling around planting something in her backyard? And that is the only way to develop an economy. If not for social media, how will we have been able to know the abracadabra of Dangote and the NNPC and all their wuru-wuru? If not for social media, how will we have been able to see the miracle of Off Your Mic? You remember when the other man was accused of stealing 80-something billion naira, and he suddenly, immediately they started asking questions in the National Assembly. He fainted. You know, if not for social media, how will we have been able to see the exposure of tribal bigots online who tells Igbos not to vote in Lagos in their own country on election day? If not for social media, how will we have been able to see the level of brigandry during elections and electioneering, where Edo election is just coming up in a few days. The last election in Edo, a reporter was reporting that APC is sharing 5,000. PDP is sharing 5,000. Everybody is collecting and everybody is happy. If not for social media, how will we have been able to see those unethical practices? Again, if not for social media, how will we have been able to see the young man from China who exposes corruption and skill, the lecturer from Kanu, Dambelu, who is Tinubu's friend? If not for social media, how will we have been able to see that? If not for social media, how will we have been able to see the APC national chairman, Gandola, stuffing his Babariga with dollars? This is what they want to regulate. Don't allow them to regulate social media. Social media remains the conscience of the citizenry. If not for social media, how will we have been able to know that they have renamed Nigeria Federal Republic of Rice? Every problem, they believe that rice is the solution. If not for social media, finally, I know my time is up, and I'm so sorry. If not for social media, how will we have been able to harness the power and the dynamism of the youth during End SARS, End Bad Governance, and other social...
I will add my own. I
never knew that video was this long. I only watched about 1 or 2 minutes of that video, that part where he said the country is doomed for life and can never be retracted. I never knew he had a very longer one. Wow, that's
I'm going to add my own. If not because of social media, how will I know that Tinubu defense minister is a bandit?
You know, in fact, let me say this very categorical. If I were him, I would resign and face all the allegations against me. And that would have been more honorable, because from all the information we're getting, my predecessor was fully involved in some of these banditry issues. Typical is the fact that there was a permanent secretary when his children were abducted. And it was unfortunate that he had to pay ransom through the government house. And it was also very clear, based on all the allegations, that bandits were being kept at government house. You know, there are so many issues. So for me, honestly, if I were him, I'll step aside and face this allegation until I clear my name before I come back and continue my job. That should have been more honorable. And how can you imagine all...
Okay, let me stop it there. So that was the incumbent governor of Zamfara State saying that the one who handed over to him, who is the current Minister of Defense State under this Tinubu regime, that he was sponsoring bandits that he harbored in government house, and he went on to say that he, in quote, is a bandit. This is a Minister of Defense. So tell me, people will continue to argue blindly about this country. I've never seen a country. It's better that these people are not fighting insecurity, but they are not complicit. But because once you are complicit, once you are supporting them, it means that you are against your people. And that is why I, Okocha Marcel, is not against anyone who is agitating for this country to separate, because this country was never won. If all these things we are seeing in Nigeria is not enough reason why someone should wake up one day and say, we ought to go in our separate way, because so many people, there is one statement, not a statement, one interview in Naya Baribe granted on Arise News. Even you, I would like you to listen to the interview. It has been long. I don't think you have seen this video, so that you will know and see why the insecurity is ravaging our country. All these people were imported.
Try and send it to me on WhatsApp so that I will go through it.
I will do that. Take a listen.
In trying to remove Jonathan, there were stateless persons that were from the Sahel region that were imported into Nigeria, and a former chairman of PDP made that statement. I'm not the person that made it.
But that importation is a fact, is it?
That importation is a fact. What has happened in Nigeria is that most of the time when something comes up today, we never sit back and say, how did we get to this point? We got to this point by virtue of the fact of the effort to remove President Jonathan. There had always been this herder-farmer clash, but it never got to this point where whole communities were exterminated so that some people will be roaming freely within their land, which is what happens in Plateau and in Benue State.
I think Benue is the worst hit.
Precisely. Yeah. And you know why? Because most of the banks of the Benue is lush because it's watered by the Benue River. And so these people came and they want. And who are these people? And that's a question that we have not dealt with. The bill first said that we have to confine these people to the ranches within their states of origin. And somebody woke up and said, no, every Nigerian has a right to go around. There's no such thing like a state of origin. Why will anybody make that statement? Reason is that in trying to remove Jonathan, there were stateless persons that were from the Sahel region that were imported into Nigeria, and a former chairman of PDP made that statement. I'm not the person that made it.
But that importation is a fact, is it?
That importation is a fact. If you ask any Nigerian Fulani, he will tell you that there's something called the Bororo Fulani. And that Bororo Fulani are these imported ones. They don't own land. Therefore, what they want to do is to settle in Nigeria. They were given free passage, let me just say it, by the Buhari regime. And we were shouting at that time, don't bring people into Nigeria who are not Nigerians. They won't have sympathy. They won't know what has happened. All they want to do is displace you, take over your place, and roam freely within that place.
But there were cattle herders as well.
They were, but the Nigerian cattle herders were not carrying AK-47 rifles and other.
So these guys brought their guns.
So these guys brought their guns with them. First thing they did was to start to rustle the cattle belonging to Nigerians. And so a Nigerian herder who loses his cattle has nowhere else to go. He becomes part of them because he is given, okay, you either join us or you got nothing. And some of them, of course, joined. And so we have this complicated problem.
All right. I think
and
we'll
this
stop the video
complicated problem is what we want to.
You know why I'm laughing? Any Nigerian said that. He said they now have a complicated. That is how Nigeria.
Anyway, the point. Yeah, the point I'm trying to bring out from there is that a lot of people don't know what is going on. So Nnamdi was saying that during the Goodluck Jonathan era, for them to remove Goodluck, they imported terrorists. Which government on earth, after seeing your country because of power, you imported terrorists into the country to help you to fight for power? Which kind of government? Where on earth do you see that?
What he did was that even those normal herdsmen that were just herdsmen have now been absorbed into terrorism.
They don't have choice. They don't have choice than to join them. They don't have choice because if you don't join them, they will take your cattle. That is what this senator is trying. And after this thing happened, you saw this this interview with Doyo Kukwe. Listen to what he said about Buhari then.
In this country said that any attempt to attack and fight insurgency is an attack on the North. So, you know, when you have such huge political considerations, there are difficulties. I mean, Buhari said that in the newspaper. General Buhari said that any attack on Boko Haram is an attack on the North. So what do you do as a government? So you want to attack Boko Haram, at the same time, a leader, a respected person in society, somebody who carries, I mean, the last vote, the last election, over 2 million people voted for him from the North. A man like that, you cannot ignore him. Now he says that if you continue to attack Boko Haram, you are attacking the North. You must be careful. A very well-known leader in this country said that any attempt to
Okay.
This is on record.
Okay.
This is on record that Buhari said that. It is on record that Pantami was involved. It is on record that all these things happened, and yet there are people still saying we are one Nigeria. This is crazy.
Now,
unbelievable.
Not only that, I know that a lot of people don't like this man called T.Y. Danjuma because of the role he played in this Nigeria before. But there is something he said that I don't like making videos without playing this video. Let's listen to this.
It's a mini state. It's a mini Nigeria composed of various ethnic groups living together reasonably peacefully. But the peace in this state is under assault. There's an attempt at ethnic cleansing in this state and of course in all the riverine states of Nigeria. We must resist it. We must stop it. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits that kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one. The ethnic cleansing must stop in Taraba State. It must stop in all the states of Nigeria. Otherwise, Somalia will be a child's play. I ask every one of you to be alert and defend your country, defend your territory, defend your state. You have nowhere else to go. You have nowhere else to go.
Marcel, I have a question for you. You from this. Now, the question I have is this. There are people that are still saying, because if this man is saying that military are involved and these people are coming to buy people and that they should protect themselves, you have no place to go. Now, to protect yourself, do you protect yourself peacefully? Do you guide yourself and protect yourself peacefully?
Yeah, I have answered that question with a video where Falana came to Channels Television to tell Nigerians that you have the right to live. That if someone is coming to kill you with AK-47, you have a right to use AK-47 to defend yourself. If someone is coming to kill you with stick, you have a right to use stick to defend yourself. That was what Femi Falana, senior advocate of Nigeria, said on Channels Television.